Tears streamed down her face as she hesitated. Finally, she whispered, "A month. Mark, I'm sorry. It was a mistake. I still love you." "A mistake?" I snapped. "A mistake is dialing the wrong number, Lisa. Sleeping with another man in our bed is a choice." I knew in that moment there was no going back. Lisa was no longer the woman I thought I knew. The trust we had built over a decade shattered into pieces. I turned and left the room, slamming the door behind me. I don't even remember how I got out of the house. I just drove, parked my car somewhere, and sat there for hours. My emotions were a tangled mess of rage, heartbreak, and helplessness. That night, I stayed at a hotel. Lisa called and texted me repeatedly, but I ignored every single one. What could she possibly say? No words could undo what had been done. The next day, I returned home. Lisa was waiting for me, her face pale and her eyes red from crying. She said she wanted to explain everything. I didn't care. Instead, I told her to prepare for divorce. This marriage was over. Lisa begged me to reconsider. She suggested therapy, said she wanted to fix things. But some wounds don't heal. Her betrayal was a scar that would never fade. I couldn't imagine sharing a life with someone who had so utterly shattered my trust. The divorce process was grueling. Lisa kept insisting that she loved me and wanted to make amends, but I couldn't even look at her without feeling the sting of betrayal. When someone you love stabs you in the back, the pain is indescribable. I had to leave. I had to start over. I left the house and everything in it, determined to build a new life from scratch. 2 years have passed since that day. I've moved to another neighborhood in Chicago, living alone and trying to piece myself back together. The memory of that day still haunts me. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, reliving the moment I opened that bedroom door. Trust is fragile. It's a lesson I learned the hard way. And once it's broken, there's no gluing it back together. I often ask myself, how did I not see this coming? But there's no answer. You trust the people you love because that's what love is supposed to be. And when that trust is betrayed, it leaves a scar that never truly fades. Life goes on, though. I'm learning to live with the pain, one day at a time. Whether I'll ever be able to trust someone again, I don't know. But one thing is clear. Love means nothing without loyalty. And without loyalty, there's nothing left to hold on to. My name is Mark. I'm 38 years old and live in the suburbs of Chicago. From the outside, my life seemed perfect. We had a beautiful home, a stable job, and a 10-year marriage. My wife, Lisa, was the love of my life, or so I thought. Everything changed on a Friday, the day my entire world came crashing down. That day at work was unusually busy. My company was wrapping up a major project, and I usually stayed late to finish up. But something felt off that day. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I had an overwhelming urge to leave early and head home. By 4 p.m., the last meeting wrapped up, and I grabbed my bag without saying a word to anyone. I was home by 4:45 p.m. When I pulled into the driveway, I parked in the garage as usual and prepared to surprise Lisa. I expected the house to be quiet. Lisa usually attended yoga classes around this time. But as soon as I opened the front door, I felt something was wrong. Her high heels were haphazardly tossed in the hallway. Lisa was never careless like this. It was the first flicker of suspicion. I quietly walked through the hallway and peeked into the living room. Empty. But then I heard something. Faint laughter and a low male voice coming from upstairs. My heart started pounding. In my mind, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe I was overthinking. But deep down, I already knew. I climbed the stairs as silently as possible, my heart racing faster with every step. The voices were coming from our bedroom. As I approached the door, they became unmistakably clear. Lisa's laugh, and a man's voice. For a moment, I froze. Part of me wanted to believe it was a mistake, but I couldn't stop myself. I pushed the door open. What I saw will haunt me for the rest of my life. Lisa was in our bed, partially undressed, with another man. They both froze when they saw me. My mind struggled to process the scene before me. The mix of anger, disbelief, and betrayal hit me like a freight train. "What the hell is this, Lisa?" I shouted, my voice shaking with rage and disbelief. Lisa scrambled to cover herself, her face flushed with panic. The man grabbed the sheet and began searching for his clothes. His fear only fueled my fury. "Who the hell are you?" I barked at him, taking a step forward. Lisa stepped between us. "Mark, stop, please, calm down, I can explain," she pleaded, her voice trembling. "Explain?" I yelled, my voice breaking. "What could you possibly explain, Lisa? You're in our bed with him. Explain that!" The man, now dressed, bolted from the room without a word. I didn't stop him. I couldn't stand the sight of him for another second. Lisa tried to say something, but I cut her off. "How long?" I demanded, my tone icy now. "How long has this been going on, Lisa?"